Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh guy here. I'm going to review the speakers that I originally bought for the front speakers for my home theater system. Right here, as you can see, the Bose acoustimass 5 Series 3 speaker system. Now what this is, I'm going to take you a little bit closer. Take a little ladder up here. Well, you know what, let's do the module first. What it is 2 cube speakers and a bass module. The bass module is behind my drum set, and there you can see the cutout right there. I keep it over in the corner. Now I had these in the front with my home theater and the original setup, and I had Insignia speakers as my rears. Now I'm not an audiophile, but I can tell you this much, that the speakers themselves don't have that switch. What I mean by that is I'm not an audiophile, but I can tell you this much, that whenever the speakers were in the front, as the front channel system, they had the highs and they had the mids, but they didn't have the lows. That bass module is called a module. It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a subwoofer of any kind. It just doesn't do it. Now these cubes themselves, I have them as my rears now. I did have them at the fronts, but they, like I said, they just didn't do it for me. I didn't want to get rid of them, so I put them in the back. At first I put them on stands, and now I have them set up like this. Now these speakers do move right to left, so you can change the angles. The speakers themselves have 2.5-inch drivers inside both of them. They are magnetically shielded and they're direct reflecting speakers. The bass module that you saw before, let's see if we can get it from this angle. The bass module, right down there where the book is behind the drum throne, has 2 5.5-inch drivers, and it's supposed to take part of the mid-range and the bass, but it doesn't exactly work out that way. So with that being said, the Bose cubes in the rear are great if you have an existing subwoofer in the front, but it's not going to work as your front speakers and give you the clear highs, the mid-range, and the deep bass. There's no deep bass. It's a bass module. It is not a subwoofer. Now the frequency response is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. And the wattage is 135 watts for these cubes, and for the bass module 200. Now for the crossover frequency, I set it down to 60 because these speakers can handle. So we're going to do a little demonstration, and the song I'm going to use is the Pink Panther from Henry Mancini, because in the beginning it has the cymbals, and then in the beginning the cymbals come through, and then you'll have the actual the horns, and when the horns come through, you can actually hear the richness and the sound from these Bose cubes. Now I have it set up on multi-channel, so it's not set up as a like a Dolby Digital or Dolby Surround. It's multi-channel, which means that the front 2 speakers, as you see here next to the Lions, and the subwoofer get the same wattage and respect as the rear speakers do. I turn the front ones down so we can just do the rears, so you can hear what it sounds like on an actual multi-channel setup. Now this is the Pink Panther, and I will get as close as I can so you can hear it. Now I can't see. What the hell? Hold on. Here we go. How they sound really good. I had them in the fronts. I mean, if you want to get them, they are great, but you have to have another subwoofer. That bass module cannot be your primary means of bass. It cannot. It just won't do it. It's going to give you this spot, and I'm not an audiophile, remember that. But there's going to be this spot in the music where it feels empty. You know, where the bass and the mid-range kind of meet each other. It just doesn't happen. Another subwoofer, it'll fix that. Now I have my subwoofer, as you saw in the beginning of the video, up with the 2 front speakers, left and right, center's in the middle. This bass module is in the back, and the 2 rear channels are up high, twisted so that they reflect off, well, there's no wall to reflect off of, but one like I have them coming down at 2 angles, and then the other 2 are going straight. So it's hitting, like the sweet spot of the entire setup is right here, my little Batman chair. And when I watch home theater movies, I get it all and it sounds fantastic. But if I have company over, I set up a table and they get hit with it and I sit over there and I don't get the same experience, but it's still good because this has, a, like I said, 13-foot vaulted ceilings, and the sound, it just bounces. And you know, I'm thinking about Dolby Atmos because they can direct up, but I'm very happy with these. I was gonna get rid of them, I was gonna sell them. Like I said, they were on stands about this tall, and they were sitting in 2 different corners, but I felt being high, coming down, they were better. And as you heard, they sound really good. And I recommend them as rear speakers. You can get these used or you can get them new because they still have a few that they sell in their inventory for about $200 to $350. I think I paid $300 for the whole set, but you can get them for less, or you can get them used to make sure they're not, like, you know, battered or beaten. But as rear channels, they are awesome. But as front channels, I do not recommend them, but it's your call. So the fronts now are the Polk Audio's T50s, and I'm gonna put the link to that video in the description because I did a review on those, and for the money, they were $150 a piece. Now you can get them for $99 a piece, 200 bucks for 2 towers, and they're fantastic, and that review will be in the description. But these guys sound great, those sound great, and you know, when you put a system together, you don't have, like, okay, the center channel is Definite Technologies. You don't have to have DefTechs, front, left, right, subwoofer, center channel, the rears. They don't have to be all the same speaker. You can mix and match and make it sound the way you want it, but you need to do your research on frequency response, the wattage, can you mount it to the ceiling, can they handle deep bass? And for me, the weakest point of my whole system is my subwoofer. It's a good subwoofer, but I need better, and I'm going to upgrade that eventually, but I'm going to do a review on that. But until next time, Pittsburgh Guy out.